Welcome back to another episode of Out Loud Geek, where we discuss news and views about pop culture, science fiction, fantasy, food, cooking, the outdoors, and more. In this box office roundup video for the weekend that ended on November 3rd, 2024, one new movie made it into this weekend's top 5 movies at the domestic box office. And the cumulative total earnings for this weekend's top 5 movies at the domestic box office fell to $50.8 million, which was a 33.02% decrease from last weekend's cumulative total of $75.8 million. And this was also the 8th consecutive weekend in which the cumulative total was below $100 million. But before proceeding, I'd like to ask everyone to please like this video, please leave a comment, please subscribe to support this channel, and please press the bell to receive notifications. Thanks! So this weekend's top 5 movies at the domestic box office included the following. Clinging to number 1 was Columbia Pictures, Marvel Entertainment's, and several other companies' Marvel threequel, Venom: The Last Dance. Rising to number 2 was Universal Pictures and DreamWorks Animation's movie entitled The Wild Robot. Falling to number 3 was Temple Hill Entertainment's Paramount Pictures and Bad Feelings horror movie entitled Smile 2. Falling to number 4 was House Productions, Film Nation Entertainment's, Focus Features, and Indian Paintbrush's drama entitled Conclave, starring Ralph Fiennes, Stanley Tucci, and John Lithgow. And rounding out the top 5 was the opening of VVS Films, Miramax Films, and Image Movers' historical drama starring Tom Hanks entitled Here. Domestically, Venom: The Last Dance earned another $26.1 million to bring its current domestic box office total up to $90 million. Internationally, the movie earned another $103 million to bring its current international box office total up to $227 million. So globally, the movie earned another $142 million to bring its current global gross box office total up to $317 million. Domestically, The Wild Robot earned another $7.6 million to bring its current domestic box office total up to $121.5 million. Internationally, the movie earned another $26.7 million to bring its current international box office total up to $147.6 million. So globally, the movie earned another $36.5 million to bring its current global gross box office total up to $269.1 million. Domestically, Smile 2 earned another $6.8 million to bring its current domestic box office total up to $52.7 million. Internationally, the movie earned another $14.1 million to bring its current international box office total up to $57.1 million. So globally, the movie earned another $26.1 million to bring its current global gross box office total up to $109.8 million. Domestically, Conclave earned another $5.3 million to bring its current domestic box office total up to $15.2 million, but no international box office earnings have yet been reported. The drama entitled Here opened by earning $5 million domestically, but no international earnings have yet been reported. And as of this weekend, the 3 highest grossing movies, both domestically and worldwide, for 2024 remained Disney Pixar's animated movie Inside Out 2, Disney and Marvel Studios' MCU movie Deadpool and Wolverine, and Illumination Entertainment's animated sequel Despicable Me 4. Domestically, Inside Out 2 ended its theatrical run, so its final domestic box office total remains at $653 million, and it's only one of 2 movies that have broken $600 million domestically in 2024. But internationally, the movie earned another $664,000 to bring its current international box office total up to $1,043.5 million. Thus, globally, the movie's current global gross box office total increased by the same amount to $1,696.4 million, and it remains the first and only movie so far this year to break $1.6 billion worldwide. It also remains the first movie to have broken $1 billion worldwide in 2024, but it's not the only movie to have done so. Further, Inside Out 2 has now earned $250.8 million more than last year's highest grossing movie, Barbie, which earned $1,445.6 million. In terms of estimated break-even points, Inside Out 2 has a reported production budget of $200 million, which, when multiplied by 2.5 and 3.0 respectively, to account for the 50% of gross box office ticket sales that movie theaters keep for themselves, as well as the additional costs of marketing the movie and other miscellaneous costs that the studio pays above and beyond the production budget, yields an estimated break-even point range of $500 million to $600 million. Thus, Inside Out 2 has most definitely made bank. Domestically, Deadpool and Wolverine earned another $59,000 to bring its current domestic box office total up to $636.7 million, which keeps it as the second highest grossing movie domestically so far this year, and only the second movie to break $600 million domestically. Deadpool and Wolverine is also the highest grossing R-rated movie domestically of all time, by having surpassed the domestic box office earnings of 2004's The Passion of the Christ during the weekend of August 11th. Internationally, the movie earned another $504,000 to bring its current international box office total up to $700.8 million. So globally, the movie earned another $604,000 to bring its current global gross box office total up to $1,337.6 million, keeping it as only the second movie so far this year to break $1 billion globally. Deadpool and Wolverine is also the highest grossing R-rated movie worldwide of all time, by having outperformed the global earnings of 2019's R-rated movie entitled Joker during the weekend of August 18th. In terms of the MCU, Deadpool and Wolverine became the franchise's sixth highest grossing movie worldwide of all time, by outperforming the $1,336.5 million that was earned in 2018 by the movie Black Panther. It's also the first MCU movie since 2021's Spider-Man No Way Home to break $1 billion at the global box office. And with its reported production budget of $250 million, when multiplied by 2.5 and 3.0, that yields an estimated break-even point range of $625 million to $750 million. Clearly, Deadpool and Wolverine has already made bank. Domestically, Despicable Me 4 has also ended its theatrical run, so its final domestic box office total remains at $361 million. But internationally, the movie earned another $1.8 million to bring its current international box office total up to $604.3 million. So globally, the movie's current global gross box office total rose by the same amount, up to $965.3 million, which keeps it as only the third movie so far this year to break $900 million globally. And for Despicable Me 4, with its reported production budget of $100 million, when multiplied by 2.5 and 3.0, that yields an estimated break-even point range of $250 million to $300 million respectively. Thus, Despicable Me 4 has already made bank. I'm also tracking several other movies that are no longer in or never were in the top 5, which includes the following. Falling to number 10 in its 9th weekend in theaters was Plan B Entertainment, Tim Burton, Warner Brothers, and several other companies' movie entitled Beetlejuice. Falling to number 17 in its 7th weekend in theaters is Paramount Animation's, Hasbro Entertainment's, and New Republic Pictures' animated movie Transformers 1. And falling to number 26 in its 15th weekend in theaters is Deadpool and Wolverine. Domestically, Beetlejuice earned another $2.1 million to bring its current domestic box office total up to $292.1 million. Internationally, the movie earned another $2.9 million to bring its current international box office total up to $153.1 million. So globally, the movie earned another $6.4 million to bring its current global gross box office total up to $445.2 million. Domestically, Transformers 1 earned another $365,000 to bring its current domestic box office total up to $58.6 million. Internationally, the movie earned another $3 million to bring its current international box office total up to $69.2 million. So globally, the movie earned another $3.6 million to bring its current global gross box office total up to $127.8 million. Now, to know whether these movies are going to break even or not, as well as how much money they might be losing, we need to look at their production budgets, which we can then multiply by 2.5 for a single mid-range estimated break-even point, or by both 2.5 and 3.0 for a broader estimated break-even point range. But if there's a reported value for the movie's marketing and distribution budget, we can add that to the movie's production budget for a total cost, and then multiply the sum by 2 to yield a more accurate estimated break-even point. For Venom: The Last Dance, with its production budget of $120 million, that yields an estimated break-even point range of $300 million to $360 million. For The Wild Robot, with its production budget of $78 million, that yields an estimated break-even point range of $195 million to $234 million. For Beetlejuice, with its reported production budget of $100 million, that yields an estimated break-even point range of $250 million to $300 million. For Transformers 1, with its reported production budget of $75 million, that yields an estimated break-even point range of $187.5 million to $225 million. So in this video, I am no longer projecting or never have projected what the final domestic or global gross box office earnings might be for the movies Beetlejuice, Transformers 1, or Deadpool and Wolverine, because their expected future earnings are either currently too small, possibly non-existent, or going unreported, or their projected earnings aren't much higher than their current earnings. Of course, Beetlejuice and Deadpool and Wolverine have both already made bank. But for Transformers 1, with its reported global gross box office earnings of $127.8 million and its estimated break-even point range of $187.5 million to $225 million, the movie currently stands to lose somewhere on the order of $59.7 million to $97.2 million in global gross box office revenue. Then by dividing the global gross box office revenue losses by 2 to account for the 50% of gross box office ticket sales that movie theaters keep for themselves, the affected studios currently stand to lose the following. For Transformers 1, Paramount Animation, Hasbro Entertainment, and New Republic Pictures currently stand to lose somewhere on the order of $29.9 million to $48.6 million. And that now brings us to the movies whose final domestic and global gross box office revenues I am currently projecting, which includes Venom: The Last Dance and The Wild Robot. For Venom: The Last Dance, this is the 17th Marvel movie for Columbia Pictures, which started to produce Marvel movies in 1997 with the first Men in Black movie. So using the past 16 movies' combined average weekly drop of 34.19% and a standard deviation of 9.76%, that creates a range of possible average weekly drops for this movie from 24.44% to 43.95%. And using that range, I can project that the final domestic box office earnings for the movie may range from $139.8 million at the low end, $165.1 million at the mid-range, and $209.4 million at the upper end, which is slightly higher than last week's projection. And using the movie's current domestic share of 28.4%, which is more than one standard deviation below the past 16 movies' combined average domestic share of 40.57%, I can project that the final global gross box office earnings for the movie may range from $492.3 million at the low end, $581.3 million at the mid-range, and $737.4 million at the upper end, which is higher than last week's projection. Venom: The Last Dance will probably break even next weekend. For The Wild Robot, using a range of possible average weekly drops from 30 to 40%, I can project that the final domestic box office earnings for the movie may range from $136.1 million at the low end, $139.6 million at the mid-range, and $144 million at the upper end, which is higher than last week's projection. And using the movie's current domestic share of 45.14%, which is lower than last week's, I can project that the final global gross box office earnings for the movie may range from $301.6 million at the low end, $309.2 million at the mid-range, and $319 million at the upper end, which is higher than last week's projection. So given the movie's estimated break-even point range of $195 million to $234 million, based on its current global gross box office earnings, the movie has made bank. So as of this weekend, Transformers 1 is a definite flop, while The Wild Robot, Beetlejuice, Deadpool and Wolverine, Inside Out 2, and Despicable Me 4 have all made bank. And as for Venom: The Last Dance, it's most definitely going to break even. Thanks for watching today, and a huge thanks to each and every one of you who has subscribed to support this channel. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, X, and Blue Sky by clicking on the links in the description. Until next time, this is Out Loud Geek.